Hey, Zach.
Hey, Mike.
What are we about to do?
We're about to go see Transformers 5, The Last Night.
Hooray.
Let's do it.
I think that's going to be better than the movie.
Yeah. Good luck out there.
You too.
We love bots, we do shots, we play with toys, excite the boys. Bots and shots, 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 bots and shots.
Before we get into the movie, we're going to be posting a lot of spoilers. So if you don't want to know about the movie, don't watch. If you want to hear two people
Bitch
about the movie, keep watching. If you like the movie and you're easily offended by people having differences of opinion than yours, like I am, if you like the movie, how can you like this? Anyway.
Also, if you haven't seen the movie but don't really care about spoilers because you know it's a shit fest going into it,
Just watch whatever. Just do whatever.
Yeah,
Do whatever you want to do. I
do.
don't give
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Just
okay.
do whatever you want. Just do whatever you want.
you do you. So here we are. We just saw The Last Night, and it was just as bad as you'd expect it to be. I think he's having a little more trouble processing this madness than I am, but yeah, it was a movie that we saw in our lives. Yeah, okay.
It's not enough to say that it was bad. It was really bad.
We're making real talk it though. Like, I hated 2 more than 4 because 4 had Dinobots in it. But I can't tell if I hated this more than 2 because, or even 4, because it had like some random elements that were like okay, I guess. I felt like, as I said when we were leaving, if this was like 2 movies that weren't just smashed together into one incoherent mess, it would have been 2 dumb but not as bad movies.
That's the same thing I had to say about Batman vs Superman.
That's what I had to say about Christian Bale, Batman 3. What was that?
There's just a lot of movies where they try to put too much into the movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where to start about why this isn't a good movie. I'm judging the people that liked this movie because I understand how anyone with their own eyeballs and their own brain can watch this movie and think that it's good.
Mm-hmm.
The plot is incoherent.
Yeah, there's too much going on. Literally,
The cinematography is incoherent.
I think the only thing about it is there's like certain little nuggets you can take out of it, like that little tiny slag.
Let's talk about the things we liked. Let's talk about the things we liked.
Okay, I like that little chubby slag bot, even though he makes no sense, and even though I guess they reproduce asexually like in Jurassic Park. What else I like about it? That's about it. That's the only thing I really liked about the movie. Oh, wait. I liked Nitro Turbo Ultra Zeus and his weird gold chains. And
You liked Bender.
I liked his Bender Jake character.
You liked Bender.
I like John DiMaggio, yes. It is. And I like the Frank Welker returned as Megatron. That's always
Frank
a treat.
Welker did a fantastic job playing a character who is inexplicably in the movie.
Yeah.
And never answered why.
That's what I'm saying. If they'd broken this up into 2 movies where maybe they had like a side story that explains how he went from Galvatron back to Megatron. That's what I'm saying.
And why he's a jet and why he looks the way he looks. And
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions I have. Why he's
also,
suddenly a knight as well.
I did like the disembodied Starscream head quips because I don't like Starscream. So
well,
I'm glad he
Starscream was
dead.
terrible. So, okay,
And
let's start from the beginning of the movie.
the beginning?
It starts with the old times.
The old times.
And
the generic Dark Ages.
generic
with no
Dark
years
Ages,
set in a-
where for some reason, like no one knows about the Transformers, but they have swords and armor that have Transformers components built into them for some reason.
Well, it's because Stanley Tucci Merlin imbued them with magical,
I guess.
non-magical
But they don't explain that.
elements.
They don't explain that. at all.
But that's something you come to expect from a Michael Bay movie.
I guess. I just, like, what's the timeline here? No one knows about them, but they're there. And suddenly everyone knows about them because they're a dragon.
Yeah, forgetting the fact that what the Fallen was already here in pre-Earth times.
Yeah,
with the pyramids.
yeah. So how far back was that? That was was that after? That was before. This doesn't fix continuity errors. It creates more continuity errors.
Like, how can you prime?
My other question:
Mm-hmm.
the knights. The knights give Merlin a staff. That's like it's got magical powers. What magical powers does it have, other than it can suck the energy from the Earth and put it into Cybertron?
Yeah, because
what does it do other than that?
Does it control the dragon that all 12 of the knights inexplicably
I don't think so.
into?
They had it in the first place. Why would they give it to somebody else if that could happen?
I don't know.
So, like, that staff, all they're saying is, oh, man, it's a powerful staff. Megatron wants it for some reason, but they don't explain why.
Yeah.
Or what he could do with it other than rejuvenate. Is that the only purpose it serves?
I think it goes back to, like, my first quip with the first movie ever, which is, like, when all this shit's going down and Megatron's been frozen for however long, and Shia LaBeouf throws out the line of he wants to use the spark to use all of Earth's machinery and transform it into stuff, and it's like, he doesn't even know Earth has machinery at this point. He's been in an ice coma for thousands of years.
Yeah, that's a good point. Back to the last night.
Okay, back to the last night.
Then we jump into, like, modern day. There's a bunch of kids going through rubble of, I guess, Chicago, maybe.
It was never cleaned up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Obama.
And there was an old transformer there for some reason, but they never say why.
No.
How long it's been there. It hasn't been buried. It hasn't, like, buried. It hasn't been buried, like, under rubble. It's just literally lying on top of all the other rubble.
Well, and, like, the little girl lives with it, and, like, Chicago's literally, like, 5 minutes over there.
Yeah.
It's over here somewhere behind it. Like, she could, like, I know she's trying to dodge foster care or whatever that
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
But I'm just saying, like, how come there was a transformer sitting there that kids could find in, like, 5 seconds?
Yeah.
But, like, no one's ever found it before, and it happens to be a knight?
But also, Marky Mark threatening to punch that one kid in the face is probably the most real Marky Mark thing I've ever... Like, I figure that's not even
that's
him
true.
in the movie.
No, that's just...
That's a threat he would make.
That was probably a threat he actually made, and they filmed it. And
I
like,
feel like
you
it's
know
like
what?
a daily...
We're keeping that. We're keeping that.
Like, it's an off-cut. Like,
hey, Marky, just do your punch face thing.
No, I feel like that... Like,
just that normal thing that you do.
They were rolling, but it wasn't action yet, and he just threw the line out, and they're like, all right.
You know what? That's going in. That's going in.
That's the most believable
Definitely.
thing in this movie.
So there was that one Transformer who's Canopy, and I guess he just transforms into garbage.
Into a canopy.
He transforms into rubble.
He's a canopy. He's making.
I get it. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's stupid as hell.
But ironically, he is the most Transformer-like Transformer.
Yeah.
Because he's not like a super fancy sports car or a robot dragon.
No, he
is just dirt.
He's
not dirt. He's garbage.
He's the most in disguise of
yes,
all the robots.
he is the most in disguise robot possible.
Yeah, that we can make this.
Yeah. And he dies in like 5 seconds.
Of course.
Again.
And then Wally squeaks.
Oh my god. So did that thing keep saying Chihuahua? I wanted to punch it in the face.
Yeah.
It wasn't cute.
No.
I didn't think it was cute.
It just kept making me think of this dumb robot.
It didn't really have a purpose in the movie other than being a thing
cute
in the movie.
Thing, yeah. It just reminded me of this dumb robot that steals Murphy's teeth in C-Lab 2021. And that Bebop
yes,
episode.
Bebop Cola.
Like, that's all I kept
what are you,
thinking
making a necklace?
Yeah, that's all I kept thinking about the whole movie. Is he just hanging out with her to steal her teeth? And then Anthony Hopkins shows up partway through it, and then Megatron shows up.
So, okay, so that was... Anthony Hopkins' role. He is a member of the Witwicken Society that references Sam Witwicky. Is he dead?
Yeah, because she's the last one.
She's the last one? What the fuck happened to this guy?
Is she the last knight?
She's not the last knight. She's the last Merlin.
Yeah, but then who's
Sam
the last
Witwicky was a member of that.
At this point, Prime
because they
alive.
chose Cade. He is the last.
He's the last.
He's
knight.
Literally the last knight. And he just had a magic thing that CGI'd around his body and turned into a sword that one time.
Oh, his spider badge that kept crawling all over?
Basically, yes.
I feel like I just had this revelation. Wouldn't Anthony Hopkins' character best have been played by Nicolas Cage?
Yes. And it would have just been a continuation from his Sorcerer's Apprentice character.
Yeah, like just a crazy dude talking about crazy shit. Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins was a bizarre choice for this.
And I felt like he was just totally phoning it in while having a good time phoning it in.
Yeah.
Because he seemed genuine with his fast-talking vulgarity.
Yeah,
Like, he's an old man who's now gone senile and loves cursing.
I actually might just be Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
I know he flipped off a car when when Cogman was driving.
Yeah.
Cogman. Let's talk about Cogman.
Herbert Cogman III.
And clearly, Cogman was intended to be comedy relief, I guess.
Yeah. But Alan Tudyk, he's supposed to be Alan Tudyk's role from The Dark of the Moon, except a robot now. Instead,
He kind of felt like that one character, the one robot from Rogue One, K2SO.
Oh yeah, that's Alan Tudyk also.
Again, yeah.
I'm telling you. Also, is Alan Tudyk character's dead?
Don't
Dark of the
know.
Moon?
Don't know. Freaking what's his face?
Yeah. The Jesus.
yeah.
John Turturro.
John Turturro, his character is still there,
Living in Cuba.
hanging out with Topspin.
Yeah.
For some reason,
And the other
wanting to go
records.
to the beach.
Yeah. Because that's what the records do, bro.
Yeah,
Blowing in the
I
sun.
guess. I feel like this review, as incoherent as it is more coherent than the movie.
I feel like
I have a lot of serious critiques with it. It jumps around too much. It creates way more questions.
It's 80% jump cuts.
Yes, it creates way more questions than it answers. Tries its best to tie in things from the other movies, but nothing ever really flows together.
I mean, if you watch the first fight scene in the junkyard when they're running from Megatron and the gang, it's like every running shooting sequence cuts into another one. Like they're running, all of a sudden it cuts them like
okay, what happened
rolling,
there?
and then it cuts them running.
What happened
else.
there?
There's no like flow to it.
There's no point A to point B to point C. It's like point A to point C to point G.
Yeah, they just
You're
keep
like, where
jumping
the
around.
fuck did-
Yeah. And Hound is alive after squaring up against Megatron. I don't.
What happened there?
But that alone.
What was the resolution to that fight?
Yeah. And then Quintessa is a thing.
It's
and
a thing.
Unicron's our planet, like in Transformers Prime, but apparently a good guy or something.
Who knows? It's just who knows? I don't know.
Is the Earth going to transform into like a Unicron robot in the next movie?
Hope it does and just kills everybody.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that.
We have no moon now in this movie. The moon is gone.
True.
The moon
Which
is
actually
gone.
causes a lot of severe problems. Let's talk about Tony Hale's character. That guy is like, no, mystical stuff is bad. Science. Even though, like, he's not believable as a scientist even a little bit.
Come on, Buster, chill out.
Buster Bluth.
No one cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, you gotta have that narration for that around him the entire time.
But I think my biggest problem with the movie, besides it just being stupidly boring, we went into this movie drunk.
You're pretty drunk, yeah.
Very buzzed, which usually means I'm going to have a good time watching no matter what.
If we could have kept drinking, it might have been better.
And maybe, but I just got so bored.
Mm-hmm.
So bored. I kept falling asleep. I was really excited when I realized I had to pee. I was like, hey, I can go do something.
And he missed nothing.
I was gone for like a minute or two, and I missed. They were in a submarine. When I came back, they were still in a submarine.
Yeah.
And that submarine, by the way, was a transformer that doesn't
something.
transform. Just is a submarine that happens to be alive, I guess. But my biggest personal problem with the movie are the ridiculously changing aspect ratios. And I'm not talking about, sometimes in movies, aspect ratios change based on the scene. A couple of examples. Guardians of the Galaxy. What's that? Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest, when Tim Allen's character, he like comes up into space and it kind of opens up. It transitions into an IMAX format, so it gives you like a grander, wider feel. I think the second, not To Kill a Mockingbird, the Mockingjay bullshit.
Oh, Hunger Games.
Thank you. That one, when Katniss comes up from her tube, it transitions from the widescreen into IMAX. Mm-hmm. Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the IMAX scene is the Millennium Falcon, and it transitions from both of those. And when they go back into space, it transitions back into like a normal aspect. This doesn't transition. It abruptly changes. Not even scene to scene, but shot to shot. Like, it'd be like a close in of me talking, then a close in of Zach talking.
But it's suddenly
and I'm talking in widescreen, and Zach's talking.
Because there's robots over here.
But it doesn't. A lot of times, it's not even robots.
Yeah.
It's literally just, well, we shot that guy's scenes with IMAX characters. We shot that one's scene with regular cameras, and we're just gonna mix them together.
Yeah, fuck it.
It doesn't work. It just looks stupid. It's confusing. It's visually unappealing. It just kept bugging me. That's my biggest problem, on top of it being just boring. Age of Extinction is bad. Revenge of the Fallen is bad. And they had bad stories, and they had a lot of issues, but they weren't boring.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed watching them on some level because there was explosions and Transformers. This one was just boring.
Yeah,
it was just, there were so many scenes where there wasn't anything happening, and I'm just like, do something.
Yeah.
I do have to say some good things about this. One, Dinobots were present mostly throughout the movie, except the end when they're just inexplicably gone.
They couldn't get on the ship.
Yeah, but
know.
they're Dinobot. They can freaking run. Where's Swoop? He can fly.
He wasn't even in the damn movie.
He wasn't even in the movie. His baby was in the movie.
Yeah,
It was Baby Swoop.
Terry from
Pee-wee's.
He's getting beers the whole movie.
That was so he perfected his beer machine by just making it a transformer.
Yeah, by just getting a
Robot pterodactyl.
I didn't even think about his beer machine from the
See,
last
it was a natural progression.
Congratulations, Michael Bay, for having an appropriate callback.
You did it.
You done did it.
I guess the best thing I can say about the movie is it didn't have any transformations from the last movie, and that was the thing that really just got my goat on that last movie. The where they could just disintegrate and reintegrate into themselves, like, it just didn't make sense. It was boring. It was dumb. I hated it. That wasn't in here. Those are like the best things I can say about the movie. Another thing that I hated about the movie was it's Suicide Squatted.
Oh yeah, dude, totally.
It's suicide. They're like, Megatron, we're gonna be on your side for a little bit because we don't know why, but we're gonna help you out.
Government.
We're gonna help you out. What do you need? He's like, I need some of my guys back. I'm Megatron, and they're like, okay, who do you need? And he's like, I want all these bad guys, and they're like, no, those are bad guys. He's like, I know. And he's like, oh, well, okay, I guess.
I guess we'll
that was
you got a big sword. We'll watch out, bad guy.
And they did the whole like Suicide Squad like name card and shot to kind of do a weird character introduction to them. Some of them, which are only in the movie for like another 5 seconds. First of all, Berserker, who has a toy, is just in that, and they're like, no, not him, never him, never him. And then they're like, okay. No Berserker, but he got a toy.
And he had a nose ring.
He had a
septum piercing.
He did. I forgot about that. And he was also super colorful.
Yeah, very
like
colorful.
what we got is this like all black, like.
He's got some red in his dreads.
Yeah, but like it's mostly he's one color.
He's like gray
and in
black.
the movie he's like
yeah,
super colorful.
Why not?
Like he actually looked kind of cool. Onslaught was one of them, but he was just like a big weird truck, and he dies in like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
he dies in like the first battle, like immediately. Mohawk was a motorcycle, which I called as soon as you see him.
Their leftover racist black transformer. From
Yes,
the previous
absolutely. There was another one. Oh, the Dreadbot, which I don't know if they actually pulled out or not. But I think there was like a VW band.
Yeah,
was he the VW
I
band?
think he was.
Band? The VW band. Van, I can't say it.
The VW band.
The VW band.
The band.
Man. VW van.
The band.
The band van.
I think that was him. I think it had to be
Okay.
him.
All right. I guess.
Whatever.
But they were all mostly forgettable. But they were clearly trying to do a Suicide Squad kind of introduction.
That first battle after that.
Yeah.
Was probably the only part of the movie where I was like, all right, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, and then most of them died.
Despite the fact that jump cuts were nauseating. My biggest complaint is I feel like watching this movie. You felt like before making this, or like he's kind of storyboarding it or whatever the fuck his process is. Michael Bay had binge watched Game of Thrones, The Force Awakens, and Independence Day Insurgents. That's the movie.
Like, let's do all those things.
Let's put all that shit together because that's what it like.
Suicide Squads.
Oh yeah, and at the last minute during the
he's like,
all right, we have some
Suicide Squads got a good idea.
On,
let's
guys.
do a character introductions like that.
Oh, another one weird tie-in was Steelbane is one of the official Voyagers coming out.
Yes,
And he was not really in
He
the
was
movie.
not in the movie,
But
but
his Skeletron redeco is clearly in the
very
movie.
clearly in the movie because he had the whole skull mask thing
I was
going
like,
on.
That's weird.
It was a weird
weird
choice.
yeah.
There were a lot of really weird choices. It's like the people that decided what toys to make didn't really watch the movie.
No, not at all.
One of the things I am super curious about is how come Bumblebee is basically immortal?
Yeah.
How come he is indestructible? 2 seconds into the movie,
Oh, yeah,
he gets blown apart and then puts himself back together mid-fight.
Is there some explanation for the technology there?
There isn't.
Did Mr. Inventor Jaeger make something that
That allows him to piece himself back together remotely.
Yeah. Like everything too, like even his little wings.
It's like all of his parts have a mind of their own. And I'm watching the movie like, did I miss something? Like, did Bumblebee just got shot apart, but he's fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're doing this.
I guess we're doing this. What rating would you give the movie?
On a scale of 1 to what? Like what are we rating?
Let's do out of 5. People that do out of 10, like anything below 5 is usually garbage anyway. So let's just do out of 5.
Out of 5, I
Yes.
give it a solid 1.5.
You know,
Like,
I'd probably do this. There are a couple of small things that I'm like,
If you had just tweaked a couple things, I would have enjoyed it more. I would have.
I don't even want to give it that credit.
What I'm saying, like, there's a couple things, like, if you had spaced it out, gotten rid of some shit, thrown unnecessary shit in there, I might have enjoyed it enough to
Michael
bump it
Bay's.
up. To bump it up to like first movie status, where I have no expectations, but at least the explosions are nice. But all the jump cuts killed all the battle glory too.
Yeah. So I would, if it were bad but mindlessly enjoyable, with like explosions and stuff, I would minimum give it a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay,
But it was boring and worse than that. I'm giving it a 1 out of 5.
Where do you rank it out of the movies? Like if you because like you're saying Dark of the Moon.
It's
is your
tough.
It's your one.
It's tough
right?
to do this right off the bat because I've only seen this movie once and I've seen the other movies
but
many
initial
times.
reaction.
And my initial reaction is I hate it the most because it's the one I've most recently seen.
Okay, that's fair.
So I think if I were thinking about this logically, if I were to rank it from best to worst, it would be Dark of the Moon, original Transformers.
This is where it gets rough. This is sort of cut the men from
This
the boys right
this
here.
is the tough part. The bottom 3. There have been 3 terrible movies of the 5.
Revenge of the Five.
Seriously. I want to say that this is the least watchable of all the movies.
Okay.
Which makes me want to say it's the worst of all the movies.
Okay.
Because as bad as the other movies are, they're more watchable.
Because they're coherent. It's an actual movie.
Somewhat coherent.
Yeah.
I could follow the plot. As bad as I could recognize the plot, I could follow it. There were times in this where I'm like, why are they doing that? Oh, did I miss something? No, they just didn't talk about it. Like when Cade was like, oh, you got my message. When?
Yeah,
when did
when
he
was
send
the
that
message sent?
message?
Yeah.
At what point did they get a message? They were like, oh.
Like, if you're gonna leave out the line of him sending the message on the cutting room floor, why put that line in? You know, like why not just have him like, oh my God, you're here, and they hug and that's it. Like why even tell say the message line?
I'm gonna say
it's right up there with Cyclonus and his armada. Like where the fuck was the armada? It was just
that's a great question.
Yeah. Why even leave that in the editing? Like why not just cut that 2 seconds of dialogue out?
Scourge and his sweeps, and then
Just
Cyclonus. And the other Cyclonus that disappears 5 seconds
why
later.
just cut the dialogue out?
Yeah.
Like it seems like such a casual editing mistake. Like why even leave it in?
It's like the people didn't watch the final movie, or whoever was writing it was on Adderall, and they just had a bunch of different
At
ideas.
least back then you had a bunch of Asian animators working on different parts of the movie at the same time, and they weren't.
Well, that
really
accounts for
communicating.
animation errors, but
it's
not
like, this makes no sense,
plot and dialogue.
Yeah. But even then, this makes no sense for any of it.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna say it's the worst.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's the worst because it's just boring. There are so many parts in there that were boring, nonsensical, poorly written, poorly edited, and just visually unappealing. It is boring.
Yeah.
And I would much rather pop in any of the other 4 movies than watch this garbage fire again. And it's not even a garbage fire, because garbage fires are at the very least visually entertaining.
Yeah, you can see a lot going on, and the story is pretty coherent. Like the fire starts, it burns things down, it's done.
I want Michael Bay to make a movie that's just like the story of an explosion.
The anatomy of an explosion.
The anatomy of explosion. Anyway, what about you?
Well, I mean, if I had to rank it,
Yeah. I'm expecting it not to be the worst for you because
No, I mean, I think I kind of agree with your assessment. It's only the first time I've seen it. It's kind of hard to really. Although I think I've only ever seen Revenge of the Fallen all the way through once.
okay.
And same with number 3 or the third one. Also, probably only seen it all the way through once. But I still think it's the best of them.
Yeah.
But I think it's got to be. It's kind of like skyrocketing for like the shittiest between Revenge of the Fallen and this one.
Yeah.
Like I think it's the more I think about it, they kind of alternate. Like.
Sure.
One had something, and the other had something. And
They
the
could
other
be
had
equally as bad. They could all be
something.
tied for worst.
Yeah, but
Like-
right now, I think it's kind of floating between 4 and 5. It keeps switching the more I think
Okay.
about it. I guess I gotta have a day or so to process.
Yeah, and we're doing this immediately. We
Following
just got
everything.
home.
Yeah,
And
coming down from our drink.
We went in very drunk. We had because we were recording the intro. I forgot to record, so we did like 3 or 4 shots
Before we
even going, and then we had a beer and shots at a bar, and then we went to go see the movie.
Yeah,
Very soft.
which is a really weird way to sober up. Is halfway through
I
a
came
shitty
out
Michael
very
Bay.
sober.
Yeah, like questioning life decisions.
Yes.
Sober. Like Jesus.
Yeah, I was hoping that would ride me through
Yeah.
all 2.5 hours of that movie. It did not. I could drive right now.
Yeah.
Like, no problem.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all we got. It wasn't a good movie. Save
No.
your money. I mean, if you're like us and you're going to see it anyway because it's Transformers and you make questionable life decisions
Everywhere.
anyway,
Then go
like,
for it.
go for it. You probably would have already seen it anyway.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. I can't recommend it.
No.
It's bad. And if you liked it, I honestly don't
I don't
understand.
understand who you're
I don't
doing.
understand who you are as a person. I
You're
don't
up
understand.
there with those people that like Suicide Squad. and
How can
Batman
you
v
like
Superman.
things
Like, I don't get it.
that are just objectively not good?
Yeah, like is it just like a contrarian?
I'm not
thing?
even saying, oh yeah, I just like this kind of thing, and you don't like this kind of
Right.
thing. From a movie making / storytelling standpoint, it was not
No, it made no
well
sense.
made. It
Yeah.
was not well told.
It was as bad as most of the original cartoon episodes where there was no real story. and
but
it was
does
just-
have a
But it was just to sell toys. Like,
yeah. Those are
toys,
commercials to sell toys, and these are at least entertaining for those
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah, but not even this one.
This does not have that because there's only like 5 toys out.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think they're making any more toys. I think what they've announced so far are all the toys that they're making.
Oh yeah, this is it.
This is
It's
it.
on the line, yeah.
So it's like, that's not even made to sell toys. They're like, it felt like the toys were like an afterthought to this movie. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, we got a movie coming out. We should do some toys, right? Anyway,
yeah, whatever.
that's it. Don't watch it.
Yeah, save your money.
That's our
Wait till
review.
it's for free on HBO and save your time.
Official Bots and Shots review. It's bad.
Done.
It's done.
It's just dumb.
There were a couple of nice, like shining moments. Maybe there are a couple of less dirty moments.
I just want to take that baby slag and take him home with me.
Ah, man, that baby slag was pretty
It's so
cute.
good. Other than
But
that,
inexplicable.
yeah.
Where'd he come from? Why is he there? Who made him?
Life
What?
finds a way.
Transformers Jurassic Park crossover?